Good afternoon, boys and goyim. This is Vincent Burt coming to you probably for the last time. I've, as you know, have over 100 video presentations on YouTube covering every topic imaginable. Now, for the second time, or is it the third time, I've been banned from YouTube. I may not be able to put this up for a month or so because someone complained about my presentation. It's the Jews, stupid. Now that presentation had been up there for over a year. A lot of people came by and criticized it, but not one, to my knowledge, had filed a complaint sufficient enough with YouTube personnel for them to pull that presentation, which I'll re-up under a different name later, to pull that presentation and ban me from making any more presentations. Well, that's all well and good as long as they don't touch the rest of them. I've pretty much covered every topic I wanted to cover over the last 2 years. There's not much more to say, and as you watch the events unfold in America and in the world, if you've been watching my videos and have any clarity about why things are being done and who they're being done by, you'll know in your own mind's eye who and what these people and groups are. So today I'm going to get a little maudlin, if you will. As you know, I spent a fair amount of time incarcerated at various detention centers and prisons in the United States, serving time for a sawed-off shotgun. And during that time, anyone who's been inside knows that you have a lot of time. So you have a lot of time to contemplate and to think about things and to read a lot of books, study, and that's what I did. Well, I got on a poetry kick, believe it or not, if you can believe that Vincent Burt, aka Bertolini, could get on a poetry kick. Pretty amazing. But I did for a while, and I buried these and came across them not too long ago and thought I'd compile them and put them in a new book I'm writing, not just on poetry or poems, but it's a book about my lucky life, believe it or not. Now, it probably won't sell. That's okay. At least I've done something for posterity and my family, and it covers many issues that even they don't know about. So I'm you know, coming forward with virtually everything, my true confessional, my swan song, if you will. So the first of these little poems, or ditties, if you will, deal with the prison life and what have you, and I'll finish it up on a theological basis, which is actually a presentation that I did probably a year and a half ago, and it's up on YouTube, but I'll reiterate it here. Anyway, I call this little ditty Freedom Lost. Locked away in the recesses of time, hidden truths lost to us, for today's illusions are vanity, the reality is far from just. Subtle manipulation and prodding hurt us through life like hurting us through life like cattle, never knowing or having memory of our true destiny and manifest battle. For freedom we so aptly relinquished to evil working from the start, ever pressing and ever present, always quenching our spirit and our heart. To use, control, and subjugate for purposes hidden from most, all blind sheep we are, thinking the real truth a joke. Our ancestors had the land, free to roam wherever they might, free to work at whatever endeavor, free to do what they thought was right. Modern man can no longer roam wherever he may choose to go, to pursue his heart's desires, for others will be certain to show that freedom, once now long forgotten, gave for each of us to use and share, no longer exist on the earth today. We yield to evil because of fear that this illusion we live every day is precious and is there to protect, when the real truth is forgotten and freedom was never in check. Collective fear lives daily of unknown coming calamities. We are frozen in our apathy and numb to our misery, thinking free when we are not, powerless to stem the tide of evil reigning every hour, too ignorant and too stupid to cry. Dead as dead can be to those who own our life. We struggle day by day, each day we live with strife. If we fail to act now, it's almost too late to reclaim the freedom that's truly ours. We are forever to blame. Okay, I got really maudlin on this one. I call it time out or out of time. Is it time out or am I out of time? While incidents, events, and happenings pass, relationships, intimacies, plans, and purpose seem from afar a blur in their unwinding. New things introduced by ambitious others, mostly inane, mundane, inconsequential, and worthless, none of which will pass the test of time, all of which will demand your immediate attention. Life in a box where time no longer exists. Time marks progress, aspirations, destination, and finality. But days and night are separated by light and dark. Events same and same and same and same again pass. Is it a time out or am I out of time? Resigned to fate and controlled by others, always. Hope belies the reality of time, put on hold, time out. Truth opposed to the illusion outside of time out. Time outside creeps forward, but not in time out. Dreams, desires, endeavors, accomplishments mark time. The withering of the limb, the graying of the hair, the weakening are all manifestation of time, or is it out of time? Forward does not exist. Things past are all that exist. Time is limbo, time out from life, out of time. What to do, who to say it to, no one cares in time out. Like a vacuum sucking our very essence, out of time. Time out of time, time on hold for what? Only time will tell one day after time has run its course, a time when time out passes and counts once again from out of time and time out. A new time begins. And that's the end of that. Now, in my incarceration by the federal government, I spent most of my time in a camp. That's the lowest possible internment that they have in the federal system, called the Bureau of Prisons. And I was fortunate enough to have my points low enough because of no prior convictions. And I spent a goodly part of my time in the camp. And so I wrote a story about the camp. A year to the day I've been at camp, but not where we sing by the fire at night. Young men, old men called old school and gramps, sent here for a time, told they aren't right. No fences, no gates, an invisible wall, them safe from us and us safe from them. Months and years we've had to fall compared to a real prison, not so grim. Hundreds of us regularly come and go, none are hopelessly here to stay forever. Each being punished for bringing society's woes because of prosecutors and judges oh so clever. All here must work at something. The prison must run like an oiled machine. Cooking, serving, washing, and cleaning. Everything at camp must be neat and clean. Blacks, whites, Asians, Indians, Mexicans, men of every religion, race, and hue. Ranchers and bankers, CEOs and politicians. Dope dealers, hustlers, users, and their crew. Jailhouse lawyers and real lawyers too, incessantly pounding out motions and briefs, trying to appeal, trying to find error or laws anew, all designed to make work and to tease. The hope persists of an early out, but every second surely shall be served. No more, no less, the law and rules spout. The judge's sentence is always heard. Even when released after you do your time, the government is not through with you. For 3 more years, probation for your crime. No longer a citizen of the red, white, and blue. No longer can you hold an office, carry arms, choose or vote. Once these liberties forever, now forever gone, what may seem as an impossible sick joke, now you are ostracized and afraid that you'll do more harm. Okay, my next one is called The Rabbit. This is pretty silly, but what the heck, I had time. You call me a rabbit and give me lots of different names. In the movies, sometimes you call me Bugs Bunny or call me Thumper. In a song, you call me Peter Cottontail. Thumper because I have large back legs, and in the movie I used them to thump on a hollow log to make noise. Bugs Bunny is always looking for carrots to eat and saying, "What's up, Doc?" I can't talk, but I sure love carrots, but I like lettuce, celery, apples, and believe it or not, I like sweet potatoes. In fact, I'll eat anything green like leaves and any plant or tree. I have a cottontail, which you can really see good when I get scared and run away. Lots of things scare me, dogs and coyotes especially, but I really have to watch out for hawks and eagles and owls. They fly in the sky and are very quiet, and they grab my friends with their strong, sharp claws and take them to their nests to eat them. So I'm grateful when I'm out and about for my hole in the ground where I dig and make my house. My cousin is called Jackrabbit because he mostly lives out west, and boy can he run fast, way faster than me. He looks kind of funny with those long ears, and I have other cousins though with floppy ears and even some with blue eyes. I wish I had those blue eyes. We all like to have a lot of little bunnies, and it doesn't take long for us to have a bunch. We have a bunch because we're lunch for a lot of other animals, and I just made a joke. A bunch, lunch, get it? Anyway, we're soft and cuddly and make good pets sometimes, but we don't forget to feed us. Give us lots of water and give us some exercise too. Okay, so this one's called, should have called this and pulled this in with the rabbit one. It's called Doodling Ditties, Nonsensical Nuances. These are things that you probably all know about, and I've tried to put as many as I can remember into at least a couple of pages here. I think you'll find this interesting. Don't eat yellow snow. When the palate is loose, you'll snore, don't you know? A finger in the butt is called a goose. Diaries isn't fun at all. Brought on by, diarrhea isn't fun at all, brought on by tainted food. Count on leaves dropping in the fall, change of season, changing moods. Pennies saved like pennies earned, finding them likely in the street. All things in life are learned, old friends glad when they meet. Broken bones take weeks to heal, cuts and bruises take only days. Teenage boys like to cop a feel, girls want them to change their ways. Athlete's foot is not caused by sports, a fungus itching like poison oak. Judges pretend they're God in court, decisions rendered by them seem like a joke. Sweet stuff will rot the teeth, dentists love the job security. Fast cars and boats so neat, until the time you lose your liberty. Colic and babies arouse the family, ear infections affect everyone. Parents work and children with nannies, and morning till night till day is done. Don't walk under ladders, don't spill any salt. Women have small bladders, even so it ain't their fault. Humpty Dumpty had his great fall, gotta break eggs to make some omelets. Women are born to shop at malls. Jews live their entire lives to get. Pay your taxes every year or the IRS will break you. Always tell your wife yes, dear, and their anniversaries with something new. Step on a crack breaks your mother's back, a ditty from long ago. Family and friend known to attack for slights and gossip causing a row. Stupid is as stupid does, every world the world over. Faith will justify the just, but not trusting a four-leaf clover. You can fool some of the folks, you can fool all of the masses. Speeding around town is no joke, oftentimes it causes big crashes. Sick and tired of being sick and tired? Frustrated parents say to child. Employees everywhere being fired, and resumes and applications being filed. Excuse me. A time to sow, a time to reap. The Bible passage goes, get out of the kitchen if you can't take the heat. One time or another, we all have some woes. The US of A is no longer honey and milk. Harder to make the American dream come true. abuse a pinball machine to tilt, and we say dumb things out of the blue. Most men stand up to pee, much to the women's chagrin. Calm waters exist at the island's lee. Little girls at Easter, proper and prim. Hickory dickory dock, mice up the clock. Blinder cannot tell time. The game of scissors, paper, or rock, jaywalking is considered a crime. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, Los Angeles smog traffic bumper to bumper? Disagreements often lead to a fight. Tired of your girl? Just dump her. Jack and Jill went up the hill in Jack's new Mercedes-Benz. Roller coasters give us a thrill. Doughboy soldiers fought in the trench. SOS and help is on the way. Not soon or even this week. Young man looking for a good lay, a bucket with holes is sure to leak. Love is never having to say you're sorry if you're an arrogant fool. New Zealand Aborigines are called Maori. Elvis had a hit called Don't Be Cruel. 7 years from now, nothing as we know it will be left. Nose to the grindstone, field to the plow. Good night, David Brinkley. Good night, Chet. It was the best and worst of times when lovers agreed to split the sheets. Can't tell you how hard it is to rhyme. Prison and jails are full of creeps. Hi diddle diddle, cows jump over the moon. Impossible, you say, but it's only your perspective. Young girls plan most weddings for June. The boss rules by giving directives. The journey begins with a first step, not knowing how it will end. Affairs in a wink are tete-a-tete. An oak holds fast in the wind. A bird in hand is surely afraid, would rather be in the bush. Mafia loan sharks are always paid. Stall your car and you'll need a push. Through the woods and over the dale, grandmother's house burned down. Summer rains, tornadoes and hail, sad things make us frown. Enough of this doodling ditty. It's gone on far too long. I'd like to get to the nitty-gritty. Someone else can maybe make this a song. Okay, this is posted on a web page that I set up when I first got out, and I've since pulled it down, so I'm going to bring this to you right now. This is a poem called White Plight. White plight, impossible you say. Advantaged, empowered, the majority. These ideas and words at play, no longer not to be believed. We are doomed as a people, about to die as a nation. Our women and men have failed to couple. Each are lacking in patience. Love is gone, lust is the norm. Careers first, families now last. Families of not so long ago torn. The kinder, gentler time has passed. Babies rare except for one, when 3 or more must be born. Couples more interested in fun, computer sitcoms, and drugs and porn. Trips, cars, abortions, and clothes more important than having a legacy. Choices we make, choices we choose, will lead to extinction because of apathy. 12% of the world's population for certain, much less now. Diminishing as a people, as a nation. Here are the reasons how. We allow those from the south of us into our town, community, and home. And the black was never a plus, all breeding faster than clones. Idly we watch as they grew and grew, sniveling, demanding, and getting more, voting themselves into office anew, voting themselves benefits like whores. Few children we have do not care. Scholastic achievement goes to the foreigners. Latchkey, TV, video games to share. Asians and Indians, awards garnered. In our neighborhoods and schools, diversity and multiculturalism, the law. Our sons and daughters turned into fools, half-breed children, whites hardly at all. A bit of stretch, you say, let the data speak for itself. Whites less than a minority one day, ultimately dying off without help. Separation, segregation, to be achieved, assures our future years to come. Families together, education, a creed. The only way, the battle, is to be won. Ignore the lies, the deceit, and the deception of those who wish our demise. The elite, media, and government corruption who have us believing that they are wise. Stand against the evil forces while it is possible to do so. In a short time, there are no courses available for whites to grow. Affirmative action, no college for us, no jobs in public service, and more whites shamed and given guilt for the past, yet we are cannon fodder for their war. Leaders are limp-wristed liars and cheats. Sophistry and collusion is the coin of the realm. Wrong on every issue, too late to meet, as if no one is at the helm. Stop wringing hands and wondering why. It's time to take control again. Time to get angry, not to cry. Time at last for men to be men. Protest, write, and take a stand. Marry our own to last for life. Love your children and give a hand. Work for a home free of strife. Teach your children to separate and live among their own. Show them how not to hate. They will follow when they're grown. Academics once again supreme, foregoing psycho or socio studies, math, science, physics, and engineering important to the future to be ready. Scripture's heritage and who they are must be forever impressed upon. Without this they will never go far, and our race will never see the dawn. Our future is in our young, and what we make of them. When the final bell on our race is rung, we are ourselves to blame then. Dear kindred, a final thought to stem our racial suicide. Fight hard, fight now, you ought. Restore your ancestry, white pride. Okay, this one is called Alone. And in prison, even though we're surrounded by all kinds of people, colors and types, you're pretty much alone for most of the time. You kind of close off, you kind of shut down, you kind of go in yourself. And you'll mix and go out and socialize from time to time, but basically you have a lot of time for contemplation. Okay, this one's called Alone. Classrooms full of students, fields of athletes, children everywhere. You are wanting to weep, alone in the midst wherever you go. Crowds everywhere, still feeling low. Uniforms and barracks all around for years. Duty calls each day, yet all alone with some fears. Not fear of life, nor of any harm. Never being a part of, not feeling that you belong. Working amongst the giants of industry and high tech, knowing that you're a fraud, keeping thoughts in check. Finding the perfect mate, falling in love at last. Never giving enough, hoping that that will pass. Still in all alone, as if another one, not feeling a part of, not feeling that you belong. Flitting to and fro, feeling out of place, of another time, an accident, a fate. The hours pass each day, the days into weeks, and weeks turn into years. The years begin to creep. Always searching, always lost, never finding what might be. Is it there? Is it where? For anyone to see. In this life, all that we can expect. Until the final end, we keep our thoughts in check. A daily life alone, a stranger in the land, seeking and searching, yet you still think you can find that place one day, life's quest that you've embarked, the place that you belong, finally, never depart. Okay, this one's going to get the liberals and the atheists riled a little bit, but that's okay, that's what I like to do. This one's titled, If There Is No God. If there is no God, who placed the starry skies, the sun and the moon and the orbits, confounding all the wise. If there is no God, then why does man exist? For other creatures on the earth cannot think or wonder or resist. If there is no God, then everything is in vain, only random acts of happenstance, even including the rain. If there is no God working universal harmony, all things in perfect order, never a thing in need. If there is no God who watches over us, then why do our hearts yearn, always searching, we must? If there is no God, then why do all men toil, working every day, one who works the soil? If there is no God, separating earth and water, teeming life above, unending beauty down under. If there is no God, a fool says in his heart, stumbling in his own way and always apart. If there is no God passing love along, giving us a mission, cheerful in a song. If there is no God, chaos would prevail. Science surely proves it. Man can only fail. If there is no God, free will cannot be possible. For other creatures on the earth live life and die predictable. If there is no God, then why does man share the fruits of his labor when others do not care? If there is no God giving each a mate, living and loving daily, sharing burdens and sharing fate, if there is no God that I will meet one day, then may I die this moment with nothing left to say. My Father God is there, Yahweh is his name. His Son died to redeem us, removing all the blame. From whom he has chosen since the start of time, I thank my God in heaven that he has made him mine. Okay, I'll get back to a little lighter note here. This is called No More. Okay, no more choo-choo trains, puffer billies in a row. No more paddle wheels churning against the river flow. No more airplanes with propellers turning fast. No more crystal radios with coils that don't last. No more streetcars running on pairs of tracks. No more icemen delivering to the icebox racks. No more simple toys bought to make different things. No more double feature cartoons and musicals that sing. No more gas station giveaways and gifts. No more television programs innocent that lift. No more friendly neighbors helpful and kind. No more cops on the beat, oh so fine. No more cereals with cliffhanger ends. No more mourning with black armbands. No more heroes always tried and true. No more loving faithfulness all blue. No more safety, doors without locks. No more justice, corruption run amok. No more children playing in the streets. No more bread man delivering every week. No more doctor visit to the home. No more hobos always on the roam. No more steel workers making bars out of stock. No more stores with sauerkraut Crocs. No more free donuts to those who buy 6. No more windows washed or rubber tires fixed. No more wagons with men sharpening knives. No more mailmen chatting with the wives. No more speaking your mind out loud. No more smoking indoors or in a crowd. No more business with so much restriction. No more anger permitted, too much friction. No more quarantine for those contagious. No more caring or respect for the aged. No more neighborhood greeters who visit. No more mysteries, sex is explicit. No more Saturday night sock hops, so much fun. No more basement winemaking to give to everyone. No more discipline allowed in the schools. No more housing for idiots and fools. No more Buck Rogers, Little Abner, and Katzenjammer kids. No more doo-wop, Frankie Elvis, who were all such a whiz. No more operators who connect your calls. No more sleeping in the attic or shoveling coal. No more mowing or shoveling for 50 cents a week. No more flying boats across the oceans so very deep. No more fire hydrants squirting children frolicking. No more fields and yards without high fencing. No more necking and petting, just going all the way. No more dirigibles, Pan Am, Trans World, or PSA. No more segregation, the colors from the white. No more fireworks in the yard, it's just not right. No more Bible primers, Dick, Jane, or Spot. No more cruising on summer nights so hot. No more truth from politicians and preachers. No more schools with smart and dedicated teachers. No more inkwells, pens, or blotters at the desk. No more playing at construction sites, there's just too much risk. No more firehouse poles or Dalmatian mascots. No more free dumping where everything rots. No more Lincoln, Washington holidays, only Martin Luther King. No more God's natural corn, but some other thing. No more plains and buffalo as far as the eye can see. No more time left for anyone to live free. Okay, this one's called Hands. Hands of the infant reaching out, tactile sense to grasp, to touch, feeling the world and loving mother, one day realizing all and oh so much. Hands of the child clinging and climbing, throwing balls of every shape and size. Dirt and grime from outdoor fun, clean at night, mom's surprise. Hands of teenagers exploring the arts, fingers working scales across the keys. Canvas covered with paint of every hue, plucking guitar strings, learning with ease. Hands of young adults penciling tests, others in uniform squeezing triggers. Still more tuning cars and stacking bricks, each one confused and hoping to figure. Hands grown up with a sense of purpose, working daily to their own destiny, touching, caressing, and comforting loved ones, ending each day in reverie. Hands hold the newborn offspring, wondering at the marvel of birth, protecting, cleaning, and providing food, gentle, caring, and joining in the mirth. Hands so old and wizzled up with years of toil and years of touch, almost finished and near the end, reaching out one last time, missing much. Okay, cool lines. This isn't poetry. My course of reading over the years, especially inside, because I had a lot of time, I'd come across a line or two that just piqued my curiosity, and I wrote them down. One day I found them all in different books and papers that I pulled out, and I put them together. Not much here, so just hang in, it won't last long. These are things you probably, some of these heard before. In for a penny, in for a pound. May all of your polyps be benign. He broke out in assholes and shit himself to death. Sorry, Gabe. People came as faceless names and leave as nameless faces. Dogs chase cars even though they can't drive. Just because it means you have a garage doesn't mean that you are an auto mechanic. I have an open mind, but not empty that the wind blows through it. Make my day, old Clint Eastwood. Life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get. What we have here is a failure to communicate. The fat is in the fire now. People play solitaire with their psychosis until someone takes their deck away. You may as well take your hammer to the ACLU and put your testicles on the desk. You have about as much chance for survival as Gloria Steinem in Saudi Arabia. She would have been tracked like a bobcat by pimpled boys with hair, as slick as seaweed, tracked and she was treed or too exhausted to resist. Who benefits? Who profits? Who rules the rulers? What will they do with us next? Political favor is the coin of the realm. An aircraft carrier is a ship. Therefore, all ships are aircraft carriers. Let's roll. Anyway, I spent a lot of time in the military and even in business world, traveling out and about in the South Pacific and Asia. And I always did love the islands and most of the island people. And I really enjoyed my time there. The balmy seas, I was always at or near the equator. And very hot and humid, but the temperatures and the weather is pretty much the same unless a cyclone would come. And other than that, not one day differs from the next. And the seas are beautiful, they're abundant with life, and the scenery, most of the islands were formed out of volcanic activity and since have vegetation all over them, the palm trees, the beautiful lush greenery, and the flowers that you can never see or smell here in the United States. So I got a maudlin about the islands. I call this Pacific Islands. I think of distant places that I once knew and yearn for each, with oceans so blue. The palms that sway, the tropics scent, the westerly winds, the volcanoes vent, thousands of islands through the western sea, each with a story where I long to be. White sand so fine, reefs foreboding, coral deep below, seabirds on the wing. Majestic mountains rise from the shore, planted with jungle, reaching for more. Balmy breezes kiss the skin, afternoon squalls, the flora winds. The sea so warm, clear starry nights, all is peace, all is right. Sunset so beautiful, water lapping the beach. Sunrise forecast the day, waves pounding the reef. Nothing is finer in life or care, memories forever of islands so rare. One day to return to live out my days, away from the snares, away from the ways that destroy a soul as sure as we breathe, to find peace again inside the reef. Okay, this is titled He Came. I did this on a separate video presentation, but I'm going to include it in here in closing. So this will be it. He came to us as a man, a supernatural birth, not just a man, but an extraordinary man. He came to fulfill the words of many prophets of millennia before. He walked, he talked, he breathed, he ate, he angered, he wept, he loved. He had body functions no different than us mere mortals. He was, after all, a mere mortal also. He came to prove who he was, first to a few, then to many, then to thousands upon thousands. He did things that no man had ever done before. He did things that all men collectively who had ever lived had never done before. He was loved, he was reviled. He led by example and spoke words that cut to the very soul of those who heard. All that he ever asked of those who were his closest was to bear witness to what they saw and heard. A man named John, called the Beloved, magnanimously stated that he came to save the world. Contrarily, he himself declared that he came but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, no other and for no other reason. He never called himself a Jew, nor did he ever call any of his followers Jews. He was an Israelite by human ancestry, and that was apparent to his fellow Israelites. Some called him the son of David as proof. He came as kinsman redeemer to the Israelites, the whole house of Israel. No others required a redeemer. No others were under the law. No other people had a bill of divorce declared by Yahweh God, and you can find that in Hosea. He came to shed his blood, finally, for the house of Israel. He came as propitiation, their remarriage into the kingdom of Yahweh as the bridegroom, for their salvation, for our salvation. The shedding of blood, however, was not enough. Anyone can shed blood, and indeed millions and millions of gallons of blood were shed through animal sacrifice as atonement for that covering, for that thing called sin. The remission of sin could only be realized by the shedding of blood of our kinsman redeemer for the whole house of Israel. He came to die in perfect obedience, to bring the house of Israel back to Yahweh. He came to be supernaturally resurrected by Yahweh to live once again in eternity, to rule and reign forever, just as he promised his kinsmen that they would as soon as their hope in the future. One life, one death, one resurrection for all of Israel, the whole house of Israel, no others. Glory to Yahweh for his infinite mercy, grace, and love. That same such agape love must be manifested in us as believers and inheritors of the kingdom, to be assured of eternity with our Savior and Redeemer. He came as a lamb. All power in heaven and earth was bestowed upon him by his Father Yahweh. He will come again as a lion, the lion of the tribe of Judah, an Israelite still. He will come in power and great glory with a multitude of his resurrected and translated saints, to destroy the enemies of his people Israel, the seeds of Satan, the Jew. Glory to our King. And with that, boys and goyim, I'm finished. This may be the last of it, and many of you will be happy to hear that. That's okay. As long as I live in cyberspace and I get a few wanderers through my site, I'm a happy camper. Anyway, God bless you. Have a great summer, what's left of it. We're midsummer. We're actually the summer solstice, 2013. So this will date this message, and with that I'll close.